A pursuit initiated in Mahoning County extended into Portage County along I-76. The suspect vehicle fled at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour through multiple townships.
Split, putting out lights. What's your authority on?
221 eastbound. He's pulling to be hitting the crossover. We're going to be going westbound.
The crossover now westbound.
Stop sticks were successfully deployed, damaging a front tire, but the driver continued attempting to escape.
He's going right berm.
Right berm.
Nope, he's in the middle, in between two commercials. He just struck one of the commercials. He's continuing. He just sideswiped the trailer on the commercial. He's going left berm.
It's a commercial left berm.
He's coming right up to where you guys are. His spikes. Speed's like 25.
Speed 25.
He just hit the cable barrier. He might bail out here.
Come on.
He's going signal 100 on the eastbound side.
Still 100 eastbound side.
Hey, units, terminating. Signal 100.
Okay, terminate.
Are you the only medical unit? 30. Traffic.
Eastbound on Waterloo.
He's going east on Waterloo.
Towards the power plant drop off.
Defense, we're going behind us here in a minute. We're 50 feet on here. There is an extremely sharp turn right here. Everybody back down.
Westbound past the apartment, coming on Highline Drive, 70.
I have spikes right here. Slow it down. I have spikes right here.
We're coming up to
Clear.
North Cleveland Avenue.
The chase ended when a K-9 handler executed a pit maneuver on South Cleveland Avenue.
High risk stop occurring.
Step down, come back to me, okay? Come back to me.
The male driver and female passenger were taken into custody. Methamphetamine was recovered from the vehicle, and both suspects were evaluated at a hospital before being booked into jail.
Cars clear, both secure.
High-speed escapes don't end in freedom. They end in charges and jail time. If you think risking lives on the road is never worth it, comment yes. A speeding GMC pickup drew attention on US 67 after radar confirmed 97 miles per hour in a 75 zone.
Call 1037, speeds 89. One temp CVI on ramp.
Copy, 51, type of check. 10-4, you got CVI on the on-ramp. Copy.
Instead of stopping, the driver continued for miles. and then exited onto US 67B, even using the sidewalk to get around backed-up traffic.
He's going on the curve on race. TVI, TVI, TVI. Hands! Newport, he's back on the road, gonna try again. He's bound on race. TVI, 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 TVI.
After multiple attempts to stop the vehicle, a third pit maneuver finally brought it to a halt in the roadway. The driver stepped out shouting while an elderly passenger remained inside the truck.
Stop! Hands! Hands right now! Hands! Hands right now! Get on the ground! Give me another unit. Get on the ground! Get on the ground right now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
Identified as Steve Harmon, he showed clear signs of alcohol impairment and refused to comply. A taser was deployed before he was subdued, and an open container of alcohol was found inside the vehicle. He refused a breath test, so a warrant was obtained for a blood draw. Harmon was later booked on charges including fleeing, resisting arrest open container, careless driving, and DWI in Dayton, Ohio. Trooper observed a Dodge Charger and a Tesla Model 3 racing at speeds over 140 miles per hour on I-20 near Moreland Avenue. The Charger was clocked at 167 miles per hour before exiting, while the Tesla re-entered the interstate and fled.
RYE 7101, RYE 7101. Eagle Connector northbound.
I'll call it.
The pursuit continued onto the I-75/I-85 connector southbound, where the Tesla drove recklessly and nearly caused multiple crashes. A pit maneuver was executed during a break-in, traffic just past the University Avenue exit. The Tesla spun, struck the patrol unit, and hit the median wall before becoming disabled in the center lanes.
Get out! Get on the ground! Out of the car! Stay right there, don't move! Do not move! Boy, baby in this car! Get out!
Officers removed the driver, Joseph Smith, and secured all occupants without further incident. Smith showed signs of alcohol impairment and agreed to a blood test. He was transported to the hospital for medical evaluation, and warrants were later obtained following his release. And a white Nissan sped away after officers attempted a traffic stop. The driver tore through residential streets at speeds over 130 miles per hour.
Speeds are approximately 70 miles an hour.
Where are we at?
Still eastbound on Stanley, just crossed over Troy. Speeds are approximately 62 miles per hour eastbound.
Okay, cause the reaction to the event. If so, who's got the ball?
I'm gonna attempt to pit right here.
The vehicle weaved through neighborhoods, caused collisions, and continued fleeing despite losing parts and suffering a flat tire. Officers maintained pursuit as the car struggled to stay in control.
Westbound on back on Alaska, heading back outwards, Leo. Going westbound on Leo. On Baltimore. He just lost the fender. Westbound on Warner. On Best Stop. Back on Chapel, heading towards Children. Okay, passing Children's.
The chase ended when the Nissan crashed violently at an intersection and jumped onto the sidewalk. Officers moved in immediately. As the driver exited the vehicle, the suspect surrendered and was taken into custody, bringing the dangerous pursuit to a close. Do you think continuing a pursuit at over 130 miles per hour in a residential area was too risky? Troopers spotted a white Chevrolet Impala speeding on I-40. When emergency lights were activated, the driver chose to accelerate instead of pulling over and fled onto the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Traffic was already active on the bridge, and the suspect continued at high speed with no sign of slowing down. A pit maneuver was executed at mile marker 284, bringing the car to a controlled stop after it struck the divider.
Or I'll shoot you. Keep your hands up. Turn around. Turn around.
The driver, a Michael Markey McCall, was taken into custody at the scene. Officers detected signs of alcohol use, and an open beer can was found inside the vehicle. The vehicle had no valid insurance and was not registered to him. He was transported to jail and booked on multiple charges. Oklahoma City officers attempted to stop a gray pickup driven by a 17-year-old near downtown. The truck sped through intersections, ignored traffic signals, and at times drove the wrong way, reaching speeds far above the limit.
South on Broadway. Go still southbound on Shields. West on 29. South on Rob. About to crash out. Light traffic. 20s, I think we're approaching that end. Here's one off road. "32nd. He's like in a ravine right now. He's still moving though.
Your incident has been updated.
You got Sammy, got Santa Fe guys over here. Did he make over to Santa Fe?
Nope, he's back on the road right now. About to come out to 29th.
Make sure they're monitoring on our channels in the area.
They are.
45.
The reckless driving raised the risk of collision at every turn. Officers deployed multiple pit maneuvers to end the pursuit.
Tired bag there. West on 23rd, or east on 23rd, is that it? Yeah, blue tire. TBI.
Pin it.
Ah. 3-1, I'll be one car. We're on Ollie. We're gonna be northbound, passing 32nd.
During one attempt, the suspect vehicle collided with an unmarked patrol unit, though fortunately no serious injuries were reported. After roughly 8 minutes and several miles, a final maneuver disabled the truck near Southwest 31st Street. Both teens were taken into custody and now face charges related to eluding police and additional traffic offenses. Do you think deploying a pit maneuver in this situation was necessary? If you think so, comment yes. What began as a routine traffic stop in Polk County quickly escalated into a dangerous pursuit. The suspect suddenly changed direction, accelerated, and began weaving through traffic at speeds between 60 and 80 miles per hour. The vehicle split between lanes, cut off other drivers, and ignored traffic signals while heading toward Gary Road and Memorial Boulevard. Even with lighter traffic, the reckless driving created serious risk for everyone on the road. As the evasive maneuvers continued, troopers coordinated their positioning. They executed a pit maneuver. Officers quickly subdued the driver using a taser, and the pursuit ended before further harm occurred. He was sentenced to 240 days in jail and faced multiple charges related to fleeing and drug offenses. The adrenaline may last a few minutes, but the consequences can follow you for a long time.
Nah, we were pulling over before MLK.
A traffic stop was initiated on a white 2018 Chrysler 300 Hellcat near Conn South and MLK in Atlanta. As the trooper approached, the driver suddenly fled from the stop.
He's fleeing! He's fleeing! He's going southbound!
The vehicle sped southbound and merged onto Interstate 20 West with emergency equipment activated behind it. The pursuit later exited the interstate and continued toward the JLO area. During the chase, the suspect drove recklessly, splitting between vehicles and striking a driver's side mirror. He then turned onto Cascade Road and entered a residential neighborhood.
Bottom out right there like I did. Alright, he's going Cascade.
The struck vehicle was not located after the incident.
An Orlando man was injured after fleeing from Florida Highway Patrol troopers on Interstate 4. The pursuit began near mile marker 121 in Volusia County when a trooper attempted to stop a Chrysler 200.
Troopers said the driver actively fled and drove recklessly westbound on I-4. The chase continued into Orange County as the danger increased. As the level of danger increased, troopers used a pit maneuver to disable the vehicle. After the impact, the car lost control and came to a stop. The driver was taken into custody without further incident. The intervention was carried out due to the clear risk posed to other motorists. Driving fast might make you feel like you're in an action movie, but the ending usually looks more like a police report than a Hollywood trailer.
We got us on a white Kia.
Officers identified a white Kia Sportage linked to an alleged abduction and initiated a pursuit eastbound on Hampton. The 17-year-old driver accelerated to speeds over 100 miles per hour, weaving through city streets.
Nissan followed it.
169, 1 and 4, the abduction. Eastbound on Hampton from 22nd.
217.
He's going towards the bail. He's going to be bailing here.
The vehicle ran stop signs and red lights, executed a U-turn at a snowy dead end, and continued fleeing despite icy road conditions.
He is now on the sidewalk doing a U-turn in the snow. Speeds approximately 6 miles. He's going to be south on 4-5 from Hampton. In pursuit of that Kia Sportage, Lincoln William, wanted for the abduction, still south.
Near Congress Street, the SUV lost control on the frozen roadway. Both the suspect vehicle and a patrol unit slid into an icy creek, abruptly ending the pursuit.
Okay, stop, bro!
My leg's gonna break!
It's under?
Yes, sir! It's gonna break! Put your hands up now! Turn around! Turn around! Fuck, you're getting... I got you, bro. I got you.
Officers reported injuries and requested medical assistance at the scene. The 17-year-old suspect was subsequently arrested. Escalating a situation rarely leads to a better outcome. If you believe stopping early makes a difference, comment yes below.
An Arkansas State Police trooper attempted to stop a black Chevy Tahoe on Highway 65 for expired registration. The driver failed to stop and continued southbound for several miles. Multiple units responded to assist during the pursuit.
9312 Red, Lincoln 9.
6 overhead. Right here on the lakeside.
Day 1. Tell me what's done, man. That was we're going in the truck.
After approximately 2 miles, troopers executed a pit maneuver at a safe location, forcing the vehicle off the roadway into a ditch where it rolled over twice. Officers approached and removed both the driver and passenger from the vehicle, taking them into custody without further incident.
EMS evaluated them at the scene. Jones now faces multiple serious charges, while the passenger was not prosecuted.
Failing to stop for a minor violation can quickly lead to far more serious consequences.
You up 3 miles that way!
Police responded Wednesday afternoon after 5 men attempted to steal about $5,000 worth of merchandise from a Home Depot off Interstate 45. Employees alerted officers as the suspects loaded 2 vehicles in the back parking lot.
2010, we got 2 pursuits going on. I'm chasing one northbound down Dave Memorial. On foot, and I got 2 vehicles running. One I'm chasing, Henry Victor X-ray, 4968.
As police arrived, 2 vehicles tried to flee and collided. A black Dodge Charger struck a patrol car, then lost a tire after hitting a curb. 2 suspects ran, but were arrested after a short foot chase.
Running towards Home Depot. 28, I think he's trying to get out for the feeder road here, northbound. We have any units? Northbound.
Up there in northbound on 45 coming up from Hinesmere.
Henry Victor X-ray 4967.
The second getaway vehicle fled onto I-45 before being found abandoned at a nearby construction site. 3 suspects remain at large, and all merchandise was recovered. What looked like a smooth getaway unraveled like a loose thread, pulling the entire plan apart. 24-year-old Patrick Alzugare pointed a weapon at a cashier and demanded money. When told there was no cash, he grabbed cigarettes instead and walked out as if nothing had happened. Surveillance cameras captured him stealing a gray Hyundai Santa Fe right at the gas pump as a passenger hurried out to safety. The stolen SUV sped toward Miami Beach, where he robbed a Shell station of about $200. But the escape didn't last long. Florida Highway Patrol tracked him to Cutler Bay, where officers quickly moved in, surrounded the area, and initiated a pursuit. Multiple charges now await, including armed robbery, theft, and fleeing police. A reminder that quick scores often lead to even quicker consequences.
What's going on, dude?
Wait, let me see your flashlight.
Charlie Henry 6876.
Atlanta Police Zone 4 officers were alerted that a vehicle linked to an armed robbery in Hapeville had entered their area. Officers located the car near Dodson Drive and Ben Hill Road. The vehicle briefly stopped, but then fled, prompting a pursuit by the ACE unit.
We're going to be in front of the Georgia National Convention Center. Show our name. 16 alcohol, 16 alcohol. 16 alcohol, 16 alcohol. 16 alcohol, 16 alcohol. What?
The chase ended after an officer executed a pit maneuver. One suspect ran from the vehicle but was quickly apprehended. The second remained in the car and was taken into custody. Both were later identified as 34-year-olds Datavius Waller and Juwan McKinnon.
Hey, get the go! Get the go!
Swift coordination brought the pursuit to a controlled end. Two armed suspects stormed the Diablo Valley Federal Credit Union in Concord and robbed employees at gunpoint. They then fled the scene, triggering a police pursuit just minutes later. Heavy traffic near Sunol forced their vehicle to stop. They carjacked a driver at gunpoint, but the victim managed to disable the vehicle.
Hey, Tony, I'm trying to carjack someone. Hey! Let me see your hand! Hey! Hey, come back! Let me see your hand! Stop! Stop!
Undeterred, the pair seized another vehicle and sped towards San Jose.
It's gone. We're flipping a U-turn, going back. Sorry, my bad. Okay, I got him. He's right coming up over the freeway on Mulberry. Making a right turn. Watch out of the road. Okay. Just TC'd with somebody right in front of 880. Suspect is two suspects running.
The escape ended when the stolen car crashed and both suspects ran on foot. Officers pursued 29-year-old Cruz Vargas, who was carrying a fully automatic firearm with a drum magazine.
A drum on it.
Elijah Phillips, 21, was quickly captured, still holding the stolen cash. Vargas was also arrested, treated at the scene, and transported to a hospital. Both now face multiple charges, including armed robbery, carjacking, and weapons violations. What began as a robbery quickly escalated into a cross-county pursuit, stacked with serious felony charges.
Suspect at the last location.
While investigating a nearby drive-by shooting, Trooper Price spotted a motorcycle with a suspicious plate. A quick check revealed it was fictitious and expired. When he tried to make a stop, the rider hit the gas, weaving through traffic at more than 95 miles per hour.
He just threw a bag out.
10-4. 10-20.
The chase cut through busy lanes as troopers closed in. Moments later, the rider slowed down, boxed in by patrol cars with nowhere left to go. He was taken into custody without further incident. The suspect, identified as Robbie Walker, faces multiple charges, including fleeing, reckless driving, and driving on a suspended license. Speed might escape the radar, but it never escapes the law. Police attempted to stop a stolen motorcycle, but the rider refused and fled through city streets. He cut between lanes and ignored traffic signals while trying to escape. Officers followed at a controlled distance, tracking movements and coordinating positions as the rider made sharp turns and sudden accelerations.
E aí, tio, qual que é o medo dessa moto? Troca ideia de homem, certo? Sacou agora?
The pursuit ended when the suspect lost momentum and was safely detained, with the stolen motorcycle recovered at the scene. Short bursts of freedom often cost much more later.
Tem quantos anos, moleque?
Police launched a pursuit after a white car ignored orders to stop and sped off through multiple streets, putting the surrounding area at risk. The vehicle weaved through traffic and repeatedly changed direction to evade capture, quickly escalating the chase. Officers stayed tight in formation, steadily closing the gap while prioritizing the safety of other drivers. The pursuit didn't end there. The suspect suddenly abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot. Officers immediately gave chase, and within a short distance, the suspect was taken into custody. The scene was secured, and the pursuit concluded without any serious injuries reported. Running may buy a few minutes, but control catches up sooner or later. A rider on a Beverly 500 turned crowded city streets into his personal racetrack, ignoring every rule designed to keep people safe. He weaved through traffic and ran red lights as police closed in, forcing drivers and pedestrians to scramble out of the way. The pursuit quickly pushed toward its limits. One miscalculation could have ended everything in seconds. But this time, luck stayed on his side, and he managed to escape. Do you think the Beverly 500 rider deserved that luck? Comment 1 if you think not. Czech Republic, August 6th, Sunday evening. Officer spotted a Honda CBR 1000 with an unreadable plate speeding past Sharafchova Lota. When the lights came on, the 49-year-old rider opened the throttle and took off, hitting nearly 200 kilometers per hour through small villages. Ignoring every command, the motorcycle made reckless passes and dangerous cuts through traffic. The escape ended when one wrong decision drove him into a dead end in Voice, where officers quickly moved in and forced the rider to stop. A subsequent check revealed the motorcycle was not legally registered, and the rider now faces significant fines along with the risk of losing his license. Speed may feel like freedom for a few seconds, but it often ends where control is no longer yours.
Let's go, bud.
St. Louis Airport police encountered an adult male near a restroom inside Terminal 1 during foot patrol.
What do you mean you can't leave? You got away?
When told to leave, he refused and pulled a knife. He ignored repeated commands, moved toward officers, and a taser failed to stop him.
Drop it! Drop the knife! Drop it! Drop it!
Drop the knife!
Drop it! Mother. Drop it!
After turning toward another officer, while still armed, an officer fired.
I'll blow your head off. Shots fired, shots fired. EMS leader. Hey, hey, hey!
Here's back!
The man, identified as 31-year-old Darius Kennedy, was given aid but was pronounced deceased at the scene. A knife was recovered and no officers were injured. In close quarters, seconds decide outcomes.
Drop it.
The chase began after a dark red Acura refused to stop and sped through city streets and highways. The suspect repeatedly rammed patrol cars, reversing to escape. The vehicle was also linked to 2 earlier hit-and-run crashes.
Yes! Hey! Hey!
He's taking off again, eastbound. I'm behind him, turning on Norwich.
He's in the parking lot behind Taco Bell.
The pursuit lasted under 5 kilometers, caused over $15,000 in damage, disabled multiple police vehicles, and knocked down a power pole, creating a dangerous scene.
Stop the car now! Hands! Hands, mother... Hey, show me your f***ing hands! You get shot! Stop the car! Stop! Stop! I'm going tasered! Get tasered! Tasered! Get your foot up! Get out of the car! Drag him in! Get out of the car, mother! Hold up! You're on me! You're on me! Oh.
The suspect was subdued and later attempted to flee from the hospital. Tests showed the driver was heavily intoxicated with a 0.24% BAC and high THC levels. Police responded to a dispute at a residential building involving 29-year-old Shay Frey. He was reported violent and later appeared in the hallway holding a box cutter.
Drop the weapon now! I'm gonna tase you! Drop the weapon! Back up! Back up now! Drop it! Move back! Drop the weapon! Move back! The weapon! Now! Drop it! Drop the weapon now!
Commands to drop the weapon were given as a civilian intervened, leading to a brief struggle. When Frey moved toward the officers with the box cutter and a taser failed, an officer fired to stop the threat. Frey was taken into custody and transported to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center, where he was pronounced deceased. Civilian interference compresses reaction time. Close quarters and edged weapons leave little margin for error. A traffic stop tied to a narcotics investigation led officers to a gas station on the Gulf Freeway in southeast Houston. The driver was identified as 23-year-old Jimmy Bryant.
Why don't we do this? Put your hands. All right.
When asked to step out, Brian pulled a firearm and opened fire. Officer Jay Sally was hit, and officers returned fire, striking the suspect.
Where are you hit? He's down. He's down. Beamer! Hey! Hey! Where you hit? Beamer! Get him in the back of my truck! No! Tourniquet! We need a tourniquet now!
I've been hit.
Jared!
Officer Sally was transported to the hospital in stable condition. Brian survived his injuries and was later charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault of a public servant. Gunfire ends every margin for calm resolution. In close contact, choices collapse in seconds. North Miami Beach officers stopped a white Honda for dark window tint. Officers reported smelling marijuana and asked the driver to step out.
You're taking longer than expected. All right. I gotta back you down. The foot on top of that. Put your hand on top of the car. All right. No needle, no knives.
The driver, 22-year-old Jonathan Rivas, became agitated, shoved an officer, jumped back into the car, and fled through nearby streets. The escape ended after he lost control, hit multiple vehicles, and ran on foot.
Gray bottoms. Gray bottoms. Get on the ground. 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 Get on the ground.
Get him out. Get him out.
3 by 60 units on 3.
Rivas was caught after a brief struggle and taken for medical evaluation. He was later booked on charges including fleeing, reckless driving, battery on an officer, and drug paraphernalia possession. Silence is a right, but force escalates everything. One shove can multiply consequences in minutes. An armed robbery at a CVS store escalated into a gunfight with police outside the business, creating a serious risk to the surrounding area.
It's right here. He's got a gun. All right, we got 2 guys going.
The 2 suspects were extremely aggressive, repeatedly firing at police. One officer was shot and later released from the hospital. The 2 suspects were stopped while fleeing, treated medically, and now face charges for armed robbery and assault on law enforcement officers. Gun violence in public spaces puts innocent lives at risk, and violence only pushes situations beyond control. An officer assisting a disabled vehicle spotted a red Jeep passing by, with a woman hanging out of the rear door and calling for help. The officer immediately followed the vehicle and called for backup. The Jeep accelerated, weaving through traffic, running red lights, and driving into oncoming lanes as traffic remained busy. Officers believed an active kidnapping was underway.
Temporary ran at the passenger.
224 is coming in.
Okay, we're going from the service. Let's go his car.
After a high-speed pursuit, police used a pit maneuver to stop the vehicle.
Take him. All right, TBI.
TBI.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands right now! Show me your hands now! He's running! No!
The suspect fled and resisted but was taken into custody and identified as 29-year-old Elijah Sanders.
Don't let him get you. Hey, get off my gun! Get off my gun! Hands!
The victim showed signs of abuse and was held against her will for several days. Using force to control someone only makes the situation dangerous.
What the?
A gold Chevy Suburban blew through a stop sign near I-75 and County Road 234 in Mechanipe and nearly collided with oncoming traffic. When a deputy tried to stop the vehicle, the driver took off.
Tango 937, 10 City. He's in the wrong lane of traffic. Through the median. We're at 70.
The pursuit raced through multiple streets as the suspect drove the wrong way, reached 100 miles per hour in a construction zone, and intentionally rammed a police vehicle.
Go ahead towards
After multiple interventions, officers forced the vehicle to stop. The driver, identified as Richardson, was pinned in and arrested without further incident. Investigators later confirmed he was on probation, had a revoked license, and was linked to a similar pursuit earlier the same day. Reckless defiance stacks consequences fast.
Police received reports of multiple suspicious motorcycles moving through the area. Some had covered or missing plates, prompting immediate surveillance. When the signal to stop was given, the riders split up and accelerated, triggering a pursuit across several roads. The motorcycles weaved through traffic as officers stayed close behind, working to keep the situation under control. One rider appeared ready to break away, but the attempt lasted only moments. Officers quickly moved in.
Ô, pô, então abordando aí sem novidade, que é sério.
Outra subir a Teodoro.
Pode encostar, pode encostar. Parei? Vamos ficar um acompanhando. Tá com peixe, com popó? Filma lá. Vamos aí.
A check revealed the rider had no license and the plate was concealed. Several indicators suggested the motorcycle could be linked to theft, prompting further investigation. Speed may create distance for a few seconds, but on controlled roads, every escape is shorter than it seems. Police signaled a black vehicle linked to suspicious activity to stop, but the driver refused and accelerated, sparking a pursuit. The car sped through multiple streets before becoming trapped in a dead end. With no escape, the suspects abandoned the vehicle and scattered in an attempt to flee. The situation escalated again when one suspect jumped into a white vehicle and took off, forcing officers to initiate a second pursuit. The chase finally ended when the suspect abandoned the white car and ran into a wooded area near a creek, hoping to disappear. Officers quickly established a perimeter, repeatedly ordering him to surrender, and shortly after, the suspect was taken into custody.